everyone! Welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 232. I am your host, Andrew Eisen. So glad you could join me. So, I recorded a new debut review today. I didn't like it. I didn't think it was very good. And I said so in the review, which I'll post in the coming weeks. I think I'll keep to myself what show it is, so that it's a surprise for those of you who care. Um, but I watched the show and didn't really care for it. Said so in my review. But, and I said this in my review too, it ended with a stinger, a hook, that spoke to my personal sensibilities. Copious, extreme, gratuitous gore. What can I say? I'm a gorehound. I love horror movies. The bloodier the better. So the show ends and it's like, hey, I know you didn't like the show, didn't really do it for you. I know the characters are kind of bland and uninteresting, kind of assholes. I know the visual aesthetic ain't the greatest. I know the storytelling, from the dialogue to the performances and structure, is not the greatest. But if you stick with us, we are going to show you intestines and brainy bits splattering all over the floors and walls and ceilings. Mwahaha! Don't you want to see episode 2 now, you disgusting viewer? Yeah, kinda do. So, I watched episode 2, and did it deliver in the grue? It did. Um, but what I was more impressed by is the level of quality from episode 1 to episode 2 was immense. I mean, have rarely seen a show get that much better in the span of a single episode. Sometimes series take a while to find their footings. This one started, its first episode to me was kind of, not really into it. And then episode 2 was like, okay, yeah, this is cool enough to watch. I wouldn't, I know I'm being vague about what title it is, but, we'll save it for the debut review whenever I end up publishing it. But that was a nice surprise, because I ended up, doing kind of a lukewarm debut review as far as my opinion on the show, and then watched the second episode, and I was like, oh, this not so bad. I don't think it's anything I would actually recommend to anyone. Like, oh man, the show, you gotta see the show, so good. Nah, not really, but fun enough. The characters, it actually introduces some likable, interesting characters, doing some interesting thing. The story structure gets a lot better. Dialogue's still a little wonky in places, but overall, I was pretty impressed that they just really got better by episode 2. So that was cool. Matthew asking me about Talentless Nana, which I just did a debut review for, which, interestingly, to me, the show I watched today, kind of like Talentless Nana in that way. A show that, for 20 of its 22 minutes, I was like, it's fine. It's not really doing anything to grab me. And then in its last 2 minutes, it takes a turn and makes me go, oh, is that what we're doing? Well, okay. I'll stick around for another episode and see where this goes. You got me, show. You got me. So to answer, oh, Lindy, hello, and Scotty, and Matthew, of course, hello, all of you. Matthew asked, so did I end up watching any more of Talentless Nana? Yes, I have since watched the entire run, which I think was oddly like 11 episodes, or maybe that was Akudama Drive, that was 11 episodes, and Talentless Nana was 12. Or maybe it was 13, I don't remember. Yes, I've seen all the episodes of Talentless Nana. The debut review, which I posted this week? When did I when did I actually upload that? Was it Tuesday? April 6th? Yeah. Yeah, Tuesday. Uh, I actually recorded it, I think, on December 2nd, something like that. So, yeah, I recorded that way in early December and watched Talentless Nana probably throughout the rest of the month. Um, so, yeah, I enjoyed the show. Yeah, I liked it. Thank you very. I believe it was you, Matthew, who recommended it to me, so I appreciate that. I quite enjoyed the show. Um, I would like a little bit more world building from it, but I assume that if it gets another season, uh, good things will come to those who wait. Speaking of good things coming to those who wait, I didn't realize that season 2 of, oh, what the hell is it called? Shoot. It's the one where the kids are like they're like in an orphanage, and once in a while they get adopted, but the ones that are getting adopted are like getting sold to the meat market or something, so all the kids have to escape. And at the end of season 1 they escape, and now they're out in the real world. And I guess season 2 is them out in the real world. So that's, I think season 2 is actually Promise Neverland, Lindy. Thank you. Honestly, I would not have. That probably would have occurred to me at like 2 in the morning or something. Promise Neverland, that's what it is. I don't think that would have come to me during the podcast. So I'm glad I described it well enough for you guys to know what the hell I'm talking about. Yeah, that's another one I did for a debut review back in the day, and quite like that one. So I'll be interested to see where season 2 goes. Um, Scotty says, "Hey, I'm HR7 in Rise and beaten the final boss. I am HR. Uh, I don't know. I am Matthew. The debut review for Akudama Drive is next. So if you want me to tell you, I'll tell you, or would you like to wait for the review? Um, I have no idea what hunter rank I am, because the hunter rank doesn't really mean a whole hell of a lot, but I am in high rank doing the hub quests because there are no more village quests. And I just completed the urgent quest to beat Mizutsune, which unlocks the 6-star quests. So I guess I'm hunter rank 6, maybe, or maybe I'm 5. And once I beat the urgent quest that comes with 6 stars, then I'm hunter rank 6. Anyway, I've not beat the final boss. I would assume. Don't tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I would assume that big flying snake monster that you see at the beginning of the game is the final boss. Not faced that boss yet, which they have named as the Great Serpent Kevin or something like that. Haven't fought it yet. Um, so Monster Hunter Rise. It's kind of boring right now. I I think it front loaded low rank with everything. Well, not everything, but almost everything. Um, Such that once you hit high rank, there's nothing new. There's very little that's new. So it does something quite smart. Unlike World, it separates the village quests and the hub quests. So you have low rank village and low rank hub, which sounds like, oh god, I've got to do low rank twice. No, if you start in the village, which is where all the story content is, you can take license tests so that the game says, okay, you can beat these monsters. All right, you're good. You can skip the 1 star low rank stuff. And same with 2 and 3 all the way up into high rank. So once you beat the village stuff, then you can go jump straight into high rank. That's nice. The problem I'm having with it is almost everything in high rank is exactly the same stuff you've already done, just the monsters aren't squishy anymore. And the hunts take longer than 10 minutes. If you're me. I'm sure many of you play high rank and, do sub 7s all the time. Oddly, the urgent quest for the first high rank level, which I think was 4-star quests, was Giratotus, the mud Piscine wyvern from World. A monster that I don't mind, but everyone else really seems to not like Giratotus. I don't dislike Giratotus, but I will admit that's never a monster I actually think about or actively fight unless for some reason I need one of its bits. But yeah, Monster Hunter Rise saved Giratotus for high rank as an urgent quest. Okay. And he's fine. Throws mud all over the place. I do love the fact that Minoto, the hub quest maiden, she hates Giratotus and keeps calling him the yuck fish, like it's a cockroach. It's so gross, yuck fish, kill it, kill it, kill it. It's really funny. Matthew says positive national news. We vaccinated 4.6 million people today in the U.S. Well, that's good. I've looked into it, and I'm eligible to get a vaccine on the 15th. So, doesn't mean I will get one. It's just that I can start looking for and for being able to schedule appointments for getting most likely my first shot starting the 15th. So that's that. Um, got your first shot Monday? Cool, cool. Um, I'm thinking most everyone I know has felt kind of crap the day after getting their shot, so I'm thinking about using my sick days, but I'm getting my shot, going to use my sick day, but my work is such that I feel guilty taking a sick day unless I'm genuinely really sick. I, but they're my sick days. My supervisor will make me take sick days if I don't use them. So I mean, they're mine. It's part of the deal. You know, like uh, I get vacation days too and health insurance, and I'm fortunate like that. So, but I mean, I've got a lot of work to do, and if I miss a day and I don't do the work, it holds everybody up, and I hate that. So, Scotty says Australia's rollout's a complete mess. We've missed our target by about 75%. Ah, crap. Sorry to hear that. So, Monster Hunter Rise. Uh, I won't need it after the first shot, but probably the second. Well, I'll play it by ear. Easier to justify a sick day when you're not working from home. It's like, oh, I'm going to take a sick day, but I'm where I work. Unless I literally can't crawl out of bed or get off of the toilet, I can work. So, Chaos says we get sick days at my work too. It is generally frowned upon using them. I am aware of businesses that have that benefit, but stigmatize it in that way, and yeah, that is not good. Uh, you know, but yeah, life ain't perfect. So Monster Hunter Rise. So I really, as squishy as the monsters were in low rank, I was enjoying Monster Hunter Rise pretty much right up until I hit high rank. Not that I'm not enjoying it, but it's like these are all the same monsters. You just have to hit them more. And the armor is exactly the same appearance wise. I think if high rank armor looked different, I would be having more fun. I mean, the high rank armor is different. It's stronger, of course, but it also has skills, decent skills, some of them, and slots that you can slot decorations in to help make your perfect armor set. Chaos says sick days are stigmatized because people abuse it. You know, the way it works at my work is we get 5 sick days a year. And if you don't use them, you lose them. So they're paid for. The perspective from my business, at least, is they're paid for. Use them however you want, even if you're technically not sick. I mean, please don't use it to skip a day that you really, really needed. Normally, I schedule this stuff in advance. Like, for instance, we didn't get sick days. For those of you who don't know, I lost most of my hours during the early part of the pandemic. I was down to 2 hours a day for 10-hour weeks for a couple months there, and we also didn't couldn't take sick days or paid time off. So I totally forgot about using sick days, and I think we got into September, and my supervisor's like, Andrew, you've got 5 sick days, use them. So I was like, oh, we can? I hadn't heard that we were okay to use sick days again. So Lindy says only 5 to 6 days. No, no, no. Not 5 to 6, 5, which is actually better. When I started with this company in 2005, we had 5 sick days per year. That dropped to 2, I think, for a series of years. That actually came back up to 5 in recent years. Um, when I started, we had 10 paid holidays per year. That changed after a couple of years to 8, and it's still 8. We used to get a paid holiday for uh, our date of hire anniversary and our birthday. We don't get those two anymore. Bummer. Chaos says we get 3, but they can roll over to the next year. Up to 10 can be banked. See, that's not. I think that might, without putting any thought into it at all, that strikes me immediately as a better way to handle sick days, because you can plan for vacation, but you can't plan to be sick, really, unless you infect yourself like a supervillain. I'm going to test this virus on myself. Ha ha! Yeah, something. So 3 sick days a year is not much, but they roll over up to 10. So if you get a horrible damn flu or something, you've got 2 work weeks stuff banked up, possibly. So that it sounds like not a bad way to do it. My vacation days actually, I forget what it is. I think it's like my vacation days do roll over, but like the system that Chaos is describing, I can only bank so many. I think it's like 160 hours. I can accrue vacay up to 160, 180 maybe, something like that, until they don't accrue anymore, and I have to use them. Speaking of which, I need to start planning my PTO for this year. So, fascinating topic of conversation, isn't it? Let's see. Lindy says I used to get like 10 to 14, but since I started freelancing, I can't afford sick days. Freelancing is hard. Lindy also says, but sick days are days for when you're sick. Vacation days are different. True. The way my company views it is sick days and vacation days are both paid time off. They're your benefit to use, so please use them. As long as you're not like, I just, everyone needs me right now. I'm going to take a sick day because I'm just not feeling it. Kind of a jerk thing to do, but your post-vaccine PTO, yeah. I've never supported myself on freelance, but I have worked freelance to supplement my income. And mad respect to freelancers because that is not easy. Especially some of the little things you have to deal with as a freelancer. This is going to vary depending on where you live. But here in California, as a freelancer, for those wondering, writing for other people, so freelance writing. In California, that counts as running your own business, which you have to pay a tax on. Try explaining to the state that I do not. I'm a freelancer, not a business owner. When I write something for The Escapist or IGN or whatever, I'm working for them. I don't own The Escapist. I don't own IGN. I don't own that business. That's not my business. I'm working for them. They pay me. Much like the company I work for full time, I do not own. So that's not my business. I just work there. So I disagree with the state, and the state disagrees with me. So when I was freelancing, I had to pay business tax. And the state, at least my state, really sucked about telling me that. Like, if you want me to pay a business tax, you better send me a damn bill, because otherwise I'm not going to know to do it. Because they came at me like 3 years later. It's like, oh, you owe 3 years in taxes. It's like, no, I don't. You didn't take my money, so better luck next year. The IRS doesn't see it that way. See, I don't think we should ever refunds, no problem with. But I don't think we should ever owe after we do our taxes, because the way I look at it is if the government doesn't do its job properly and doesn't take the amount of money out of my paycheck that it should, sucks to be you, better luck next year. But if you take too much, you best give that back. Because I got video games to buy, you see. So anyway, Monster Hunter Rise. So high rank starts. It's all the same monsters. They're just stronger. So fighting the same monsters for the same looking armor. And then I fought the Yuckfish. And then it just opened up more quests. Same monsters. And I was thinking, alright, so of the monsters I know about, we're missing Rakna the big spider monster. Rajang, who we know from past games. And Wind Serpent Kevin, the big snake monster that floats through the sky in the beginning of the game. And your hunter's like, huh, I wonder if that's going to be important later. And you guys seeing that big snake monster in the sky? Is that important? No? Okay. So I was figuring, we just had an urgent quest for Giratotus. The next urgent quest would be Rakna. And then probably Rajang in the next urgent quest. And then the final monster of the game. That was where I guessed it was going. That is not where it was going, because the next urgent quest was Mizutsune. Oh my god, I just got that. Water Fox. It's a portmanteau of Mizu, water, and Kitsune, fox. It's the I just got that. It's a good name. Um, which was a monster I had already fought in low ranks. I was like, oh, okay. So I beat Mizutsune, and then opened up 6 star or something, and looked at all the quests, and it's all the same monster. There are no new monsters. Now, I'm assuming, hopefully, that the urgent quest for that one's going to be Raknikadaki or someone. Rajang is actually... When I opened up 5 star quests, I think, Master Hojo, the guy on the Baby Tetsukabra, he said, monsters can invade your quests now. And I'm like, there's just always other monsters on the map. What are you talking about? He means Rajang. Rajang's there, but so far, Rajang has been asleep every single time. He seems to always be there, but he's always asleep. He's never bothered me any. He's never dropped in to say hello. He's never broken up any of the fights I've been in. So I went over and sleep bombed him. So I have some Rajang parts because he was there and he's just snoring away. He just sleeps the entire time until he ups and leaves the locale. So I'm not sure what it is about how invadery he is. He's invading. He's taking a nap in the corner. He's not doing anything. Um, so I've kind of slowed down a little bit on Monster Hunter because there's just it's all the same. It's still fun, and I'm still working towards stuff, but it's because I really want to check out that Raknikadaki monster. It looks really neat, and the Wind Serpent Kevin or whatever its name is, and I've already fought Rajang a little bit. And maybe there are some other new monsters new or returning monsters in the game that I'm just heretofore unaware of. I hope so. But for right now, I'm just kind of slowed down on Monster Hunter Rise, just because it's. I don't think it's as. I don't think because there's really no story now either. I mean, not like there was in the low rank village quest stuff. I mean, occasionally they're like, "Oh, that Wind Serpent Kevin, he's out there, and you're gonna have to fight him. We'll keep researching, and you keep hunting." I think World was paced better in that regard. I don't agree with the I don't know. I think they should have not used almost every single monster in the game in low rank. So you'd have a mix of new stuff to do once you hit high rank. Because you hit all the biomes in low rank, all 5 of them, really, unless there's a 6th map well, I guess the rampage maps are there. Maybe I should do more rampages, because the game's only asked me to do 2 so far. There's one rampage which is an extended tutorial, which I'm happy that they tutorialized me so that I could understand what the hell was going on. And then there's another one that is the same thing, although the layout was different. So I guess that the rampages, the rampage map changes, like the little hunting installations are in slightly different locations just to keep it interesting. But yeah, rampage is, at least thus far, not a big part of the game. You only do it twice. Huh. I mean, you can do it, you can play them over and over. It's a fine way to, I guess, grind for items. You can also get defender tickets, which allow you to put special skills on your weapons. But the rampages, the rampages, the 2 that I did, they just hand out defender tickets like candy. Like, I had 30 of them or something. I've been able to put skills on all the weapons that I've wanted, and I've only done the two rampages, so I've never felt the need to do any more. Maybe I should do more of them. Figure out that one Wyvern fire cannon that like is manable but doesn't do anything when you press the fire button. You just let go of it. I don't know. I don't get that one. I mean, I guess maybe it's a pointed in the direction you want it to fire, and the button you press is just that's the fire mode that you leave it in. Maybe I'd have to test it out, but I haven't. So, Twisted Ideas? Hello. How different is Rise from World? Um, there are different. I'd say not. It's still definitely Monster Hunter. It's as progressively user friendly as they get. They are still amazingly, frustratingly opaque for newcomers. Um, the biggest difference really is the wire bug mechanic. That's a movement mechanic that's new for this game. And the wyvern ride mechanic, instead of mounting a monster and stabbing at the head, you get to ride it around and ram it into walls or fight other monsters with it for a time. That's fun. Controls a little wonky because it controls like a car. Like you have to hold the shoulder button like you're holding the gas pedal instead of just using the control stick. So instead, you have to hold the R button and then manipulate the control stick to get it to run in a particular direction. I genuinely have no earthly clue why they decided to do it that way. It makes no sense, and it's really awkward. Again, as I've mentioned, I guess it's kind of well, it's awkward to ride a monster. Okay, but it makes it less fun, so... the urgent quest for Mizutsune? Wow, I wasn't prepared for that. Because I've been rocking throughout pretty much all of low rank. The first monster you fight is the Great Azuchi, that weasel with the knife on its tail. I made Great Azuchi clothes, and I wore that pretty much all the way through low rank up until Magnamalo, who comes a lot earlier than you expect, and you kill almost instant. I'm like, I thought it was going to be oh, this is just like when you first meet Legiacris in Monster Hunter 3. You try. Uh, it's like, oh god, it's like, run, you fool! You're not ready for this yet. And you're like, oh no, doggy paddle away because there was water combat. No, it's just you're in the middle of the village quest, and they're like, oh, Magnamala's here, go kill it. Oh, is that the end of the game? No, there's still some quests. Yeah, you killed Magnamalo. Well, that's not paced well. Um, where was I going with that? How it's different from Worlds. World, I think, paced its story better and doled out its quests in a better manner. Also, when you did a quest in World, sometimes you never knew if you were going to get into a fight with a big monster, or if you were, what it was going to be. It did a lot of like there was a quest where it's like, you got to set up a new sub camp in the ancient forest, so let's go out there and scout out some stuff. And you go out there, and there's a Kuluyaku like squatting in your campsite, and so you have to suddenly hunt Kuluyaku. Oh, that's cool. There's another one where you're like, we're gonna go. There's a big piece of Zora Magdaros sitting in the middle of the desert, so you need to escort our scientists out there to make sure they're okay. And you sneak out there, and you have to sneak past a Rathian, and then you're out there, and suddenly bear-off attack. There is nothing thus far like that in Rise. All of it is just pick a quest out of a list. It tells you exactly what monster you're going to fight, and that's it. You've got a list of quests, just pick a monster. It's not a bad way of doing it, it's just not as engaging or immersive. Um, for me, I like the fact that most of the monsters, I talked about this last week, I think, but I like the fact that most of the monsters in World do not give the slightest poop that you're there. Some of them will aggro instantly, like Devil Joe, Odogaron, Anjanath. A couple of them are really angry monsters that there you are, and will come after you, but most of them do not care that you're there. They'll look at you. They see that you're there, but you are an ant to them. They genuinely don't care. They might roar in your direction, but rarely will the monsters in World attack unless you attack first. I like that. It makes them feel more real. It makes it feel like a part of this world that's existing aside from you, that you don't matter. In Rise, so far as I've seen, every single monster without exception aggroes when you are in the same zone as them. All of them, every time. None of the monsters just go about their business. They're like, oh, a pissant, whatever. You know, all of them are like, my spidey sense is tingling. Get the hunter! And that's not a deal breaker or anything. So I'm kind of like I kind of like the way World did it better, but Rise is still a fun game. I'm just I've cooled on it a little bit in high rank just because there's very little new in the sense that I'm fighting all of the same monsters again for better equipment, but equipment that looks exactly the same for both my hunter and the Palico and Palamutes, which kind of lessens the incentive to work through it. So, but I mean, my Leslie and Bob videos are 3 a week, and there's like 30 some monsters in the game, so I don't have to worry about it taking another couple of weeks to get to Rakna Kadaki because I got plenty of videos to go out for Leslie and Bob in the meantime, so I'm not really worried about it. Oh, Mizu. So that's what I was talking about. Is in low rank I beat the first monster, Great Izuchi. Made pants out of them. Wore those pants pretty much through all of low rank, all the way up to Magnamalo, and then made Magnamalo's gear and used that for the rest of low rank. Once I got into high rank, I made pretty much Great Izuchi clothes again. Again, the first monster. And I used those all the way up to the Mizutsune Urgent Quest. Mizutsune swiped me with his tail and took off like 60% of my health. And I went, oh. Oh, I'm going to have to pay attention or I'm going to die. I was like, oh, the game really expected me to have made a newer armor set since the beginning of high rank. Because Mizu hits hard. So I had to actually pay attention or Mizu was going to stomp my ass into the earth. But I managed it, but still, that was a fight, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to look through the list and see what new armor set I want to make because I like playing comfy. You know, I don't really want to heal after every single hit because at the amount of defense I had from high rank Great Izuchi outfit, he would have carded me in about 2 hits, 2 hard hits. Because that tail slam did about 60 some percent of my damage. Took about 60% of my health bar. So that was a fight. It was a good fight. But before I continue on through 6-star or whatever I'm at, I'm gonna have to make a new armor set because otherwise the fights are all gonna take 25 minutes because I'm running around healing after every hit. And if you've seen any of my Leslie and Bob videos, you know I'm not good at this game. I just run up in the monster and start slamming on the attack button. It smacks me, I go flying, I take healing, and I run back in. So, so that's right. Still, it's a good game. I really quite like it. There are a handful of things that I think World does better, but still quite an enjoyable game. So, moving on. Let's talk about the public library. So, as you might imagine, I have myself a card to my local public library, the Library of San Diego, which allows me access to the one in PB, the one here in Linda Vista. There's one up in Claremont, I believe. Pretty much all the San Diego area branch libraries. I've got access to a bunch of them. I haven't been to any of them in a year, obviously, but I was thinking uh, this week that there's a service called Hoopla, and what it is it's a basically a virtual book checkout service kind of thing. Um, and I remember looking into it years ago, and my library is not on that program. The one in Chula Vista is, which is like 13, 14 miles away from me. It's way south, way south of downtown. Not the same library branch. I would have to get a new card for that one. So I thought about Hoopla again for the first time in years. I thought, hey, I wonder if my library is in the program now. Because if it is, I could rent books, and they've got comic books and all kinds of cool stuff. No, no, the San Diego Public Library System is still not a part of that program. The Chula Vista Library System is. So's Escondido, but that's even further north. It's like 25 miles north of me. And I don't have cards to those libraries. And you know what? If you want a library card, you can't do it online. You have to go in person, and I really don't want to. Kind of limiting the in-person stuff right now. So that's a shame. Because there's some stuff I want to read. Oh well. Seems like a decent service. I've never tried it because my darnable library is not a member of it. So, oh well. I mean, I could always. There's always like Amazon's Kindle Unlimited, but I don't have a Kindle. Of course, I'm sure there's some bespoke reader that you can use just to read stuff on your PC. But I've never looked into that. Although I was a member of that's slightly different, but actually I think Amazon owns it now. Comixology, I think Amazon owns that. Um, when I years ago when I did my 30 days of comics, I got a month free subscription, trial subscription to Comixology Unlimited, and I used it to do my 30 days of comics. And Comixology Unlimited, like pretty much all subscription services with unlimited in its name, is limited. Very limited. You know, it the way Comixology Unlimited works is they have a lot of comics that you can read, and they have a lot of so you pay $30 a month or whatever to read some comics. Imagine, if you will, Netflix, which is what, $10 a month, $12 a month, something like that. Probably depending on whether it's standard or HD, or you know, if you can have 4 accounts or one, whatever the price for Netflix is. I have no idea. Imagine, if you will, if you paid $11.99 a month for Netflix, and that allowed you to watch the first season of all your favorite shows. But if you wanted to watch season 2 of Orange is the New Black or My Little Pony or whatever, that would cost money. In addition to the subscription that you're already paying for the service. That would suck, right? Seems kind of weird you do it that way. It's the way Comixology Unlimited does it. Comixology's Unlimited has a limit. $30 a month and you can read the first arc of some comic runs. And then if you like them, you can give us even more money to read the rest. I don't like that business model. I would rather, especially if you're going to call it unlimited, I just pay a subscription service and I can read whatever the hell I want. I can read all the stuff on your service that I'm paying for. But maybe, perhaps, possibly, I ask too much out of life. Shame on me. So let's talk about anime. I like anime. It's always a fun question because I'm an asshole. So, uh, many times throughout your life, you will be posed with the big questions. Who are we? What is our purpose? Where did we come from? What is on the other side of the observable universe? And do you like anime? I've always found the latter a really interesting question. Do you like anime? To me, that's kind of... Why are there still fireworks? What are we celebrating? I almost care enough to go out and investigate, but not quite. Seriously, there have been fireworks every night for like 2.5 weeks now, and I don't know who's firing them or what they're celebrating, and I don't quite care enough to find out, but I do care enough to bitch about it a little bit. So asking, do you like anime? To me, it's kind of like asking, do you like food? I mean, I like food when it's tasty. Same with anime. I like the anime that's good. Not so crazy about the anime that's not good. And there's a lot of anime that's not good. Just like every other entertainment medium. Do you like music? Do you like stories, narratives, books, movies? I mean, when they're good, yeah. I mean, have you ever heard of anyone who's like, I don't like music, any of it? I mean, unless you have like really super sensitive ears or have no taste. I don't know. So anyway, anime. Yeah, I like anime so long as it's good. But I did this on Twitter, and I thought tonight I would go over a few standout anime shows that are renowned the worldwide, that everyone seems to love, that I'm just really genuinely not that crazy about. So, here are some anime shows that are very broadly beloved that I'm just not that into. We will start with a few that I've only seen the first episode of, which is not a fair appraisal of the entire series. All I'm saying is I saw the first episode and I wasn't interested in watching anymore. One Piece. I saw the first episode of One Piece at a comic shop. They were having a anime day. So I went over where they were just showing a bunch of anime. So I just went and camped out and watched a bunch of anime. One of the things I saw was the first episode of One Piece. I did not like it. I don't totally remember why or what it was about. What I remember is that the humor didn't work for me, and I did not like the character design. And I still don't. Really long show. That's one of those shows that has hundreds of episodes. But a lot of people really love One Piece, and I'm glad they do. And it makes me kind of want to just watch more of it to get a better understanding of what the show actually is. because I've only seen the first episode, but I just was not. First of all, I really don't like the art style and the character design, and from what I recall, it's just the humor. It just really didn't work for me. Um, Here's one I did a debut review of. Chaos is on my is on the same page. I can't get past the art direction for One Piece. Yeah, I find the character design just off-putting and ugly. Twisted says One Piece doesn't start off great. That's another that can also be a hurdle for a lot of different entertainment. Monster Hunter too. Monster Hunter for a new player. Oh man, that's a tough one to get into. You have to want it. Some anime shows, and not just anime, but shows in general, are like that too. Like I've had other shows where people are like, "Yeah, the opening couple of seasons is a little rough." I'm like, "Couple of seasons? Jesus, how much time do I have to invest in this before it gets good?" Um, I'm trying to think if there's any shows that I really enjoy that have a really weak opening. Not just kind of a weak first episode, but where the opening itself, like the first arc, is not very good. Nothing comes to mind. I'm sure there's a couple there, but nothing really comes to mind. Um, so another one is one that I actually did a debut review for, and that's My Hero Academia. If you want my further thoughts, you can watch my debut review for it. But man, that one just did not click for me. Um, Lindy says I can't stand the character design either, so never bothered to watch it. Yeah, sometimes that can be a sticking. Sometimes I can get past character design I don't enjoy if the show is solid, but as I mentioned, as I recall, One Piece, it's general humor just didn't click with me. My Hero Academia, I'd have to go back and watch my review again, but I can't really remember exactly what it was about the show that left me cold. I remember there was something visual about the show that I found confusing. Not like I don't like this character design, but I remember there was a visual depiction of some action sequence where I was watching. I'm like, what am I looking at here? What are they trying to communicate to me with what they're doing visually? So, yeah, that I think just started like its fifth season or something. I'm constantly seeing really cool cosplay from My Hero Academia. Um, it's something I would. Some of the character design for me was kind of a mixed bag. Some of it I thought was fine. Some of it I just didn't cotton to. But it is a show that I would like to watch a couple more episodes just to get a better sense of what the show is. Um, but I mean, you can't. Hey, Tiger, you can't like everything, and life is only so long, so I can't watch everything either. Another one that's super popular that I only watched the first episode of was One Punch Man. I did not like it. And I know people absolutely adore this show, but man, I found Saitama, I think his name is, just utterly repellent. I could not stand the character, and I I know it's the premise of the show, but I just have a tremendous difficulty getting invested in a character who doesn't care and who either doesn't care or doesn't try because they're just that powerful, or in Saitama's case, both. Also, another show where I'm not really crazy about the character design. Just doesn't do it for me. It's not bad, just don't like it. Lindy doesn't get One Punch Man either. Uh, and again, to be fair, I've only seen the first episode. I know that the further you get into the series, Saitama gets surrounded by a variety of different characters. And the show, I could imagine the show truly singing based on just a bunch of awesome characters that exist in the same world that he does. Kind of like BoJack Horseman. Well, I think I did a debut review of that. I ended up watching most of the first season. I think I made it to like episode 8 before I finally gave up on it. The thing about BoJack Horseman is there's another show where I genuinely don't like the character design, but the show was strong enough that I continued watching it. But why I stopped around episode 8 is that I can't stand the title character, the protagonist of the show. I can't stand the titular BoJack Horseman. He's just a repugnant, utterly loathsome person. He sucks. Saitama isn't like that. He's just boring and I don't care about him. Uh, BoJack Horseman's just a lousy human horsey being. I think BoJack Horseman for me would have worked better if it had followed like any of the other characters. Like if the star of the show was, for example, the woman ghostwriting his autobiography, I think that would have worked better. If it wasn't from BoJack's perspective, if he wasn't the center of the show, if he was just something that the other characters had to deal with, much like I think One Punch Man might work better for me from the perspective of someone else. Uh, BoJack is an ass, says Lindy. Yeah, yeah, yes, he is, and yeah, he's just unpleasant. And there can be characters who are flawed, um, who are. It's a tricky thing to write narratively. Is a character who is flawed in a way that makes them a bad person, but still making them likable enough that you, as the viewer, want them to get better. And there are I don't know if one's going to come to mind, but there are definitely characters who are bad people in a sense that you're rooting for anyway. It's like, no, don't fall to the dark side. I know you can do this. I'm rooting for you. You know, I didn't have that for BoJack Horseman. I was just like, oh, piss off into the sun, you misanthropic, loathsome, abusive prick. Yeah, which is a shame too, because it's a really smartly written show. Same reason I don't like Rick and Morty. Another show that is just incredibly well written and wonderfully creative, and I cannot stand the main characters. Rick and Morty. Rick especially. Also, another show that I really just cannot stand the visual design of it. I cannot stand the character design of those characters. It is so ugly. Smart show, well written, incredibly creative. Can't stand it. Don't like the characters, don't like the art, can't stand his constant belching and drooling. Oh, God. So, anyway. But back to anime. So, another one that I've only seen one episode of that I didn't care for was Hunter x Hunter. Another one that I know people speak highly of, that I don't remember anything about. That's how I remember I was like, not for me. I don't know why. I have like this vague memory of green and maybe fishing. Other than that, I can't remember a damn thing about Hunter x Hunter. Lindy says, never bothered to watch Rick and Morty, but I will always have Futurama. There's not a show I watch, but I've seen a couple episodes of it maybe. I'm like, it's alright. Tiger says, can't stand the Caltech art style anymore. That's not actually a thing. But I think it ran its course years ago, was nice at first. Okay, so getting into shows that I've actually seen either the whole thing or at least a decent chunk of. Neon Genesis Evangelion. I don't like it. Visually, I didn't really care for most of the design of the Evas and the Angels. but that wasn't a deal breaker for me. The biggest problem for me with Evangelion was I just did not like any of the characters. None of them. Um, Rick and Morty, I did enjoy. The fandom on the other, I could not stand. Oh yeah, sadly, Rick and Morty, like many fandoms, has a significant chunk of its fan base that is just horribly toxic, and it's tough being a fan of a property that has a significant number of horrible people who are also fans. It's like, oh, I don't want to like the things that you assholes like because you're assholes. No one wants to associate with you. Go away. Um, I appreciate Evangelion. I appreciate what it did and what it was saying. I just really didn't enjoy it because I just didn't like any of the characters. Um, Shinji, I think his name is just whiny and I mean there's a reason he is the way he is, but he's just not fun to be around. He's just whiny and depressing. His father's abusive. The Gallon Asuka or whatever her name is, the Gallon Red is abusive. The Gallon White, Ray, I think her name is just. I like. Sometimes I like the stoic reserved characters, but she's just got nothing going on. Again, there's a character reason for that, but it's just not enjoyable to watch. The woman with the who drinks a lot and owns a penguin, she's obnoxious. I just don't like anyone in the show. Um, oh well. Here's another one that I actually started out liking, but then Tiger says Evangelion. I enjoyed it first, but I think the further I got into it, the more I just really started to dislike it. Don't get me started on the ending. I never did see the redone ending, the end of Evangelion or whatever it was called. I probably should just to see what they did. I agree that probably the first few episodes I was like, it's a kids pilot giant mecha shows beat up monster. It's okay. But then as it got going, I just liked it less and less. So I probably had a similar experience to you. Uh, but another show that I started out. Ooh, Chaos. I'll get to that. Another show that I started out quite liking and then never finished. Kill la Kill. I started out thinking that show was utterly hilarious. I thought, oh, this is brilliant. I'm loving what they're doing here. Then after a while, I got sick of it, and I thought about FLCL and how at 6 episodes it almost overstays its welcome. Like, it's pushing it at about 6 episodes. It probably should have only been 5. Imagine if FLCL was 26 episodes. That's what Kill la Kill felt like to me. So, yeah, I stopped after about halfway through the show. Um, it's visually, not character design wise, but just the visuals, I think, are fascinating and really interesting to watch, but it gets old. Or rather, for me, it got old at around episode 7 or 8, and I just got bored with it. So it's a shame because I started out really quite liking it. Um, Tiger responding to Chaos says I didn't like Megas XLR at first when it came out, but I really started to like it as I got older. I really liked Megas XLR. I have seen that, and I was sad that they didn't. There wasn't a. They didn't make a ton of it, did they? I mean, there wasn't that much of it. I wonder if how long did that go for? Let me. I guess XLR. Let's see. Oh, there were 2 seasons. I wonder when that happened. So, okay. Season 1, 13 episodes, and Season 2, 13 episodes, which directly followed Season 1. Okay. So there were 26 in total. So, all right, it had a decent run. I quite enjoyed that one. I don't know if the whatever station that or channel or whatever that aired on, if they started futzing with the time, or when they kept moving when they aired it or something. Um, but I remember enjoying what I saw of it. For those who don't know, it's about a guy and another guy and a gal, I think, who have a car that's the head of a robot, and they go around just punching other robots and stuff. It's silly and it's fun, and I quite liked it. Tiger says, I find it interesting as I got older, there are shows I didn't like at first but started to later. Yeah, taste change as you get older. I can't really think of something that I didn't like when I was young but like now. But I'm sure, I think there's probably more things that I remember enjoying when I was young that I don't like now. I'm like, oh man, my taste when I was a child was shit. Um, Naruto, don't like it. I It's just not very good. I mean, its art and character design is fine. Although I have a funny observation. Its animation, especially in the action sequences, tends to be pretty good. It's got ninjas. Ninjas are fun. It's got fun powers. I just never found the characters that interesting or the story particularly interesting. Granted, I don't think I saw enough of it in order. Like, I've seen a couple episodes here and there, so maybe I'd have to just watch it in order to really latch onto the characters, but it it never spoke to me. But I will point out something that I found funny is I always wondered, let me say this in a different order. It was years before I realized that Naruto had scars on his cheeks. I was like, oh, those are scars! I always wondered why he had cat whiskers. I always thought that was a really weird design choice. I'm like, okay, why does he have whiskers? What? He's got whiskers on his face. Why? No, those are supposed to be cuts or scars. I I think they could have done a better job of making that clear. It kind of reminds me of the protagonist in Ico, the video game. I thought he was wearing a hat with horns on it. I didn't realize the kid had horns. It was years before. I'm like, oh, he has horns? I thought that was a hat. So, let's see. Cass is consistently my top 5 of Cartoon Network shows, but was inexplicably canceled. Megas XLR? Uh, Maybe that's what happened. They canceled it before airing the rest of it. Because I seem to remember there only being like 10 episodes. I'm like, oh, that's a shame. This was fun. Uh, that happens. Kind of like they did a Tremors TV series, which I think it was on Sci-Fi, but they started with like episode 6, and then they did episode 2, and then they did episode 12, and then they stopped airing it. I was like, well, no one's watching. Well, yeah, because you keep changing the time and you're airing it out of order. We don't know what's going on, dumbasses. Tremors, the TV show, is pretty solid. It's a lot better than you think Tremors, the TV show, is going to be. I thought it was pretty good. Anyway, la 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 la, here we go. Tiger says, Naruto I didn't like. Everybody in my... you know what I hate when people say Naruto? Like, but you watch the show. You know that's not how it's pronounced. It's not Naruto. It's kind of like how anytime I see someone talk about the Yakuza series and they go Yakuza, I'm like, no! I know I don't pronounce Japanese words well. See, Mizutsune. But, man, at least try. um, Lindy says, those are scars? I know, right? I thought they were cat whiskers. And you'd be, Andrew, come now. Do cat whiskers make any sense? No, they don't. That's why I always thought it was weird. um, Chaos says, if I'm not mistaken, Megas can be found on YouTube easily. I believe it's public domain. How is it public domain? Someone's got to own it. Um, all of Megas did air. Well, I'm glad it did. I don't know. I don't know why I lost track of it, because I do remember enjoying the show. So, Tiger says they canceled SWAT Kids before airing the rest of the last season. I don't think I ever saw that. Matthew says, yeah, SWAT Kids is a deep cut. Heard of it, never seen it. I'm pretty sure, anyway. Tiger says, what makes me deeper is the fact that there's an unaired finished episode. Ah. Chaos says, Cartoon Network gave up the rights last I heard. Oh, they put it in the public domain? That's surprising, but alright. So next, here's a controversial one. A show beloved by everyone, but not by me. You see, I don't beloved Cowboy Bebop. Yes, heretic, I know. But I there's a lot I like about Cowboy Bebop. The music is wonderful. The action is often very good, and it's depicted well. The choreography is creative. It's shot in a way that makes it visually coherent. The design is mixed bag. The character design I'm kind of iffy on in some cases, and in other cases I'm like, eh. Um, really, it was the characters. I just never connected with the character, and I saw the whole thing. I don't dislike Cowboy Bebop. I just never liked it. And it was really the characters. I just never connected with any of the characters. I never really cared about what their goals were, what they were doing. My biggest problem with the show? Faye. I hate Faye. She's terrible. And that's the point of her character. But what really bothered me the most is the fact that all the other characters constantly put up with her shit. That just always drove me nuts. I'm like, oh my god, why are you giving this woman space or time of day? Just kick her ass out the airlock. Don't let her in. She's going to screw you in a bad way. She's going to betray you. She does it every single time. Why do you bother? Stop it. It makes me not like any of you. At least music's good. Heresy, says Chaos. Yeah. Lindy hasn't seen it. Tiger says, don't like Cowboy Bebop. You wait right there, Andrew. I'm going to go set up a public burning. Chaos says, Faye isn't meant to be likable. That is absolutely correct. She's not meant to be likable. But the problem, and that in and of itself is not a problem. It's really the way the rest of the characters respond to her. They constantly cut her slack and put up with her, and I just don't understand why. And it drives me nuts. It's kind of like, let me think. Narratives can often get away with unpleasant things as long as it's clear to the viewer that the narrative understands that this is a bad thing. We know this is a bad thing. But it's when the narrative, the storytellers don't seem to realize that this character is horrible. That's when, for me anyway, it becomes less enjoyable. Still, a lot I enjoyed about Cowboy Bebop, but yeah, overall, I liked Outlaw Star better. Tiger says, but in all seriousness, I can see why you didn't like it, and I agree with Faye. I would have thrown her out. Yeah, seriously. Also, what are those suspenders doing, Faye? They're not holding up your pants. Are they just fashionable in and of themselves? Hey, you do you. But, yeah, I like Outlaw Star better. Better characters, better story. Yeah. Chaos backing me up. Outlaw Star is great, yeah. Yeah, another one. I would say if I had to, compare the soundtracks, Outlaw Star has great soundtrack, but hard to beat Bebop. I mean, let's be honest. Okay, here's another one, and this one might surprise you, knowing that I'm a gore hound, that I love gory, gooey stuff. Berserk. You'd think it would be right up my alley. It's got monsters. It's got a gruff dude with a giant sword that uses the giant sword on the monsters in ooey gooey ways. Uh, the show isn't afraid to kill kids. There's a pretty great one where he like I forget what the context is, but he gets like startled and he rams his giant ass sword and impales this like 10-year-old boy against a wall, and the kid's like, ah, what the hell just happened? And Guts is like oops. But Guts is oh, Trigun. You know, I've seen it. Another show. It's okay. There's some stuff I like about it. Some of the individual scenes are creative enough. You know, like the various bad guys they run into in Trigun are just so imaginative. It's essentially a superhero show in that sense. Everyone has their own unique power set, and what powers they have is always interesting. But it was interesting enough for me to watch, but I would never rank it among my favorites. It was all right though. Uh, Berserk though, it's another one where visually I like how rough and gooey and dark and monstrous and gory it is. I just don't like any of the characters in it. I didn't find the narrative compelling or the characters interesting. It held my attention in a lot of places just because of the gore, but and the violence. Because I mean, I'm a mark for that garbage. But yeah, just it didn't really dig the show. Tiger says I did enjoy Trigon. There's some episodes where I'm just okay. Can we just move on with the plot? Yeah, it is a very episodic. Well, it's a journey show where they almost never go anywhere. They never get where they're going. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I remember kind of having that impression too. It's like, are you guys gonna like actually go somewhere and do something at some point? Uh, Bebop didn't have that problem, as I recall. It was a bit more episodic. The episodes were pretty self-contained. There was an overarching narrative, but you could pretty much watch each individual episode on its own. But it did have a decent sense of forward momentum with its narrative. So good on it for that. Last one on my list, Full Metal Alchemist. Tiger says the characters go to places, but sometimes the plot don't. Yeah. Full Metal Alchemist is another one I just it's one I can't really identify anything particularly wrong with. It's just one that never connected for me. I just never got into the story or the characters, and I'm not terribly clear why. It's also a show I've not seen a ton of. I've only seen like a few episodes of it. Most of these shows I've seen at least half of them, if not the entire run. But Full Metal Alchemist is one I only saw like the first few episodes of, and it was just like, it's not grabbing me. So, so there you go. Um, Speaking of anime, I don't know if you can see it on my shelf. No, well, no. So, yeah, you can't. It's off frame. But, one, two, yeah. Uh, there's a new. They're making battle athletes again. There's a. I think it's a remake or restart or reboot or something. That was originally an OVA back in the '90s, I think. And then they did a 26 episode TV series, Battle Athletes Victory, I think it was called. I could look on my shelf. I have it. I can't read it from here. It's let's see, can I see it? That right there is the TV series of Battle Athletes Victory, I think it's called, and those three right there is the OVA. Fun show. I hope the remake has Jubei the cow, because that was especially in the TV series was hilarious to me. I forget where I was reading, but I was just reading about the upcoming seasons of anime. I'm like, okay, let's see. Oh, this looks interesting. That's a battle athletes. They're making more battle athletes. I'm gonna have to check that out. Tiger says, I remember when Final Fantasy movie came out in the mid 2000s. The spirits with it. I have that. I have that too. I saw it in the theater. I liked Final Fantasy Spirits Within. I thought it was pretty good. I remember being pretty impressed with. It was one of the first times I'd ever seen a full CG movie really do its damnedest to mimic how it would be shot in live action, with stuff like mimicking how a steady cam would follow you around, would because near the beginning of the movie you've got the soldiers and they're like running down a hallway or corridor or something or trench or something like that, and the camera is animated like it's a dude with a steady cam chasing behind him. And I thought it was just so fascinating them going for that aesthetic. I also remember the two lead characters smooch at one point, and I remember sitting there in the theater. Now, normally when people smooch in a movie, I'd go "ow," because I'm a child. But I remember going, "That is particular. That must be really hard to animate." You know, not get his tongue clipping through her cheek or something like that. Getting anything to interact with anything is a pain in the ass in 3D animation. So getting two characters to lock lips and make out, I was like, that was one, it's technically impressive, and two, I wonder how awkward it was for the artists who worked on that scene. Just trying to get these two dolls to go together. Um, I remember another small. Sometimes little things like that stick out to me. I remember in The Incredibles, there's a scene where Mr. Incredible goes to Edna Mode, I think, to because he tears a hole in his super suit, and he like has this wadded up suit, and he like sticks his hand through the suit and then through the tear to show that it's torn. I was like, oh my god, that must have been a pain in the ass to animate. And I imagine the creative people behind the movie would be like, oh my god, why are you, watch the movie. Am I doing such a bad job with the characters and the emotion and the narrative that you're pulled out and distracted by a guy sticking his hand through his sleeve? It's like, no, it's a great movie. It's one of my favorite Pixar films, if not my favorite. But um, I imagine the animators who work hard on that probably appreciate it. Um, in summary, I liked Spirits Within. Let's see. Anyway, the rest of Tiger's comment there about Final Fantasy came out in the mid 2000s. There was all these pirated DVDs crashing, region locked DVD players happened in my anime clubs. Spent the entire lunch troubleshooting. Huh. Lindy says, I thought Tiger was referring to Advent Children. Oh, you might be. Oh, you're okay. Oops, I was referring to Spirit Within. Sorry, no, I've not seen Advent Children, so dunno. But I liked the often maligned Spirits Within. I know a lot of people think it's kind of garbage, but I enjoyed it. Um, Kaz says Spirits Within was a good sci-fi movie, but probably should not have had the Final Fantasy name attached. Now that's a fair point, and I feel that a non-insignificant chunk of the animus directed at that movie is probably in part from that perspective. You know, Final Fantasy in name only. Pheno. Um, and that's true. I mean, as varied as the Final Fantasy games are, as completely different as the individual installments, worlds, characters, and stuff, there there's a tone, a thematic sense that ties them all together as Final Fantasy stories. Spirits Within, not so much. It's got a character named Sid. That's about it. You know, that's the most Final Fantasy thing in the entire movie. Is there's a dude named Sid in there somewhere, and That's about it. But if you can get past that, I found it an entertaining sci-fi movie. So, uh, bu- 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 um, Cass says if they were going to make a Final Fantasy movie, it should have felt like a game we could have played. I I wonder if Advent Children scratches that particular itch. Again, I've not seen it, so. Tiger says, while we're discussing controversial opinions, I couldn't get into Final Fantasy VII. I just can't take a liking to Cloud. I have not played enough of Final Fantasy VII to say, but Cloud has always struck me as just kind of a broody ass, and I've always wondered what the hell Tifa and Dead Girl, Aerith, see in him. Because he's just a moody ass, you know? Again, I've not played the game, so maybe he's got hidden depths. But everything I've ever seen of that game, is like I don't know. Also, it's one of those games that even if you've never played it, you're like it's overrated, but you haven't played it. Nothing is that good. It's overrated. It's kind of like going into a liquor store and seeing a bottle of alcohol that costs $1,600, and you're like, yeah, that's overrated. No beverage is tasty enough to justify such a price tag. Period. Nothing tastes that good at all. So, but then again, I've never had a $1,600 bottle of wine or whatever, so what do I know? Love Final Fantasy X though, says Chaos. 10 was. Which one is 10? That's the one with the three women who are like a pop group? Is that Final Fantasy X? I remember the right one? Or wait a minute. No, no, which one? Is that the one with the? Oh God. Gonna have to look because hell if I can remember this crap anymore. I'm old. No, that's 10 too. 10 is the one with that dipshit in the yellow coat. What is his name? Um, it's the one with Blitzball. Titus. Ah, fuck Titus. Just, I haven't. Again, another game I've not played enough of to really render an opinion on. So, you know, most of my experience with Final Fantasy are the games before the American released games before 7. So I kind of fell off the Final Fantasy boat once they stopped coming to the Nintendo platforms. Um, Cass was answering my questions there. So, so I started writing down video games and movies that everyone seems to really just be gaga for that I'm lukewarm or less on, but I've only got a couple entries, so I'll think about that over the week or so, and if I come up with a decent list, maybe we can talk about movies and video games that I'm not crazy about for one reason or another. It's a fun topic, but it is 8:30. I have some stuff I want to do tonight, so I think we will wrap up the podcast here. Uh, yeah, okay. Hang on. Doop, doop, doop. So, tomorrow, um, noon Pacific Standard Time, I think we're gonna. I know we've done it 2 weeks in a row, but I've been really busy during the week. In addition to also playing Monster Hunter, which takes a lot of time, so I haven't had time to stream. So I just want to play some more Trails in the Sky. So we're going to play some more Trails in the Sky tomorrow, noon Pacific Standard Time. You can watch here, watch on Twitch. Also streams to Facebook Live if that's your thing. We are in the tournament, and I think we're going to the unless story happens. I think we are fighting in the finals. So uh, that should be interesting because Lawrence's team or whatever his name is. Um, they look like they kick a bunch of ass. So we need to talk to people in town. We need to explore the sewer, and then we're going to go fight in the tournament. So I think that's what we'll be doing tomorrow during the Sunday stream. So the tiger says, "Take care. We'll save the public burning for that Cowboy Bebop later." Yeah. Hope to see you all tomorrow at noon Pacific Standard Time for some more Trails in the Sky. And that's it out of me. Have a wonderful evening, everyone, and wonderful rest of your weekend. Take care. Bye bye.